So, everything that happened in chapters 1 and 2 was insane, right? Like, very crazy, amazing character development for both MC and Silas, their partnership, the development of him more as a character, so many lore drops, so many things that were hinted at being solidified, as well as so many new seeds ready for us to sow with our crazy brains that just soak up the lore. Especially for me, but and a lot of validation. And then we get to the second, the second chapter, crazy. Zane comes into the fray. Love to see him. It was a very beautiful, like very sweet, tender interaction between the two of them. Very, like, oddly quite intimate for a main story moment. And I really appreciate that they kind of like developed on showing his warmer side explicitly in the main narrative. And they're like, I think even Infold were tired of people calling him cold. Funny enough, the entirety of Lincoln is currently consumed in snow, however. But the way chapter 2 ended has left me feeling very fragmented. I think I don't even think I could even get my words out, because again, it's like, as I said, it was essentially Zane exhibiting the most Dawnbreaker-esque mentality towards the situations and somewhat behaviors. However, it's still him in our reality, I would presume. It appeared to be following on from it looked like a nightmare sequence because of how much it seemed to overlap and kind of like play with elements of what happened in the Dawnbreaker anecdote. And they do touch upon his guilt, and so there's so many intriguing things that I love about Zane, and I've been talking about and wanting to delve into so much more that were touched upon. And now we are on chapter 3, and the first chapter, in the first part of chapter 3, Cosmic Spec, is Dawnbreaker. And it's Lincoln covered in snow. So my heart's beating so fast, but we're just going to go into it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I have the complete perfect read on Zane forever in every situation, in everything. I hope I do, don't get me wrong. But I genuinely don't feel in my heart of hearts he would ever be okay with something like the Fountain of Vitae. And so that being released as information alongside the conversations that are happening around him, he's significantly too much of a driven character and essentially anti-establishment in that kind of way to ever permit or allow that kind of stuff, especially when his own research as youth was utilized and like taken by Carter, utilized to create X-Heart and continue like essentially creating a Wanderer virus. Zane is not going to be okay with any of those things, and I see him doing things to abolish or just completely destroy all of that. But I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there, see what happens, and let's go into Part 1, Dawnbreaker. In the early morning, street lamps cast a bright, lonely glow across the snow-covered streets. It makes the city appear deserted. Barely able to keep his eyes open, the boy dozed off in the priority seat. He swayed back and forth during the trip until he finally bumped his head. It was before the bus stopped too.
Ow!
Oh, it's the boy from Fractal Library. It was in the Arctic who was on his way to, from what we can presume, maybe on his way to see Zane?
Now arriving at Azure Square Station. Please remember to take all personal belongings with you.
As soon as he gets off the bus, cold wind mixed with snow hits his face. It washes away his drowsiness. He rubs his eyes. Upon realizing where he is, his gaze instantly lights up.
Judgy, wake up! We're here!
The journey between the Arctic and Lincoln City spans thousands of kilometers. After several transit changes, he finally returned to his starting point. After hurrying to a secluded bench and making sure no one's around, the boy carefully sets down his backpack and gives it an admonishing pat.
We're back. And you're not allowed to run off this time. Until we find the emissary, we need to stick to our usual plan. Pretend to be a regular dog whenever there are people around.
His backpack?
You know, the fluffy kind that humans love to pet. Got it? We'll practice paw shaking later.
Oh my god, it sounds like it's going to turn into pie or something. The boy waits for a long while, but there's no response from the backpack.
Should she?
With a growing sense of dread, he unzips the backpack only to find a hole and a few tangled tufts of white fur. The wind whistles through the gap. Oh no! What's gone missing? His doggy! Wait, white fur. Is it pie? Sorry. So we're at the Hunters Association. Studying the documents Zane gave me, I searched through every library and archive in Lincoln City. I try my best to uncover the information about cosmic civilizations hidden in the biometric key, but every search has come up empty. Several days of running around have taught me one thing though. Unlocking the key's secrets won't be something I can accomplish overnight. But right now, something else has caught my attention.
These are special pathological cases where the subjects retain a human's physical features, but their consciousness has been eroded. Only primitive aggression and instincts remain. For now, we're designating them as Alterum.
Right, this is what they were talking about earlier.
These Alterum share one common characteristic too. They were diagnosed with protocore syndrome.
Alterum... Tell me Alterum are not the ones infected with the Wanderer virus that's comes back to Zane, or essentially abominations. Protocol syndrome. 2 days ago, I received an unexpected message from Dr. Zane at midnight. It was long after we parted ways. I have to go on a business trip. It's not dangerous, but we might not be able to contact each other for a while. Don't worry. Yes, I'm not going to Mount Eternal. Interesting caveat. These sudden announcements had become the norm. I scrolled through my emojis and sent back a happy snowman with ellipses above its head. The words protocol syndrome act like a signal. They connect my earlier suspicions to create a clear pattern. This is under Zane's field of expertise. Could his sudden departure be connected to these Alterum? Hold on, did I actually crack it? Hold on, pause. I'm just saying this right now. If I actually predicted the plot as Zane being the one who unwittingly helped the creation of the Alterum, and therefore he is explicitly going to destroy the entire situation, the description of the Alterum reminds me of those so-called specimens I encountered in Skyhaven, but she also encountered some in the N109 zone, right? With the Alterum appearing in Lincoln City, does this mean the Fountain of Atay has entered another phase? Whether or not he's the one who created the virus, because again, I feel like X-Heart is way too relevant of a situation to not be involved in this. I swear to God, no one is ever going to be able to tell me anything about Zane. No one is ever going to be able to tell me anything about Zane if I'm actually, like, on the money.
But according to these forum posts, a mysterious figure has appeared these past few days. They strike before the police do, and their codename is apparently Dawnbreaker.
Oh. Is Zane deliberately acting like Dawnbreaker? Zane, like...
They always manage to deal with the Alterum before the police can arrive.
Sorry, what I'm saying is Dr. Zane deliberately acting like Dawnbreaker Zane? Is what's going through my head, semi? Because again, they've never switched places. So, I don't know if this is going to be a thing like, oh, through space-time, they switch places. But I feel like that doesn't really make sense. Like, and I also feel like, again, it depends on how it's done, but I also feel that's a little bit weak. Don't get me wrong, I love Dawnbreaker and I'd love to meet Dawnbreaker. But I want more Dr. Zane and more of Dr. Zane's complexities. Okay, let's see.
Wait, what? Another urban legend?
This is literally based on the third anecdote. Like, you need to have read Zane's third anecdote.
Focus.
Jenna interrupts our off-topic discussion. The virtual display switches to show some photos from a crime scene.
As for these recent Alterum attacks, the police need a hunter to investigate and detect metaflux readings. Does anyone want to volunteer?
Thinking these clues might help Zane, I raise my hand without hesitation. I'll go, Captain. I am so thrilled with this premise already. I'm actually so thrilled with this premise already. And we have a whole chapter and then another chapter, like. So now let's get into Blind Spot. Northern Ring Road, crime scene. After receiving assistant's credentials for my investigation, I head to Northern Ring Road that's located in the downtown area. The detective lifts the barricade tape and approaches me. After we shake hands, he leads me to the crime scene.
Thanks for coming out when there's all this snow.
I'd like to say the same thing to everyone else who's here. I set up the precision scanner I bought on the ground and turn it on. Once the scan is complete, the data will be uploaded to the cloud that the association can access. Then a detailed report will be generated for police use.
Perfect. We've received some of the restored surveillance footage, so we can take a look at it. The surveillance equipment was damaged by the cold, though. I'm afraid the video quality won't be great.
I thought Lincoln City's outdoor surveillance systems were designated to withstand low temperatures.
The temperature dropped far below the equipment's tolerance threshold. It's safe to say the damage wasn't caused by natural means.
Zane's fault. Because of his evil. In the low-quality footage the detective hands me, I managed to spot an unsettling figure lurking in the darkness. The creature's form is distorted. Weapons that look like hooked tendrils grow from its body. Compared to the ones I've encountered before, they seem to have grown significantly stronger. What about Dawnbreaker? Did you catch them on camera? The detective shakes his head.
They managed to avoid being captured by the surveillance system. Meticulous and efficient, I'd say.
As I approach the damaged guardrail by the road, my hunter's watch immediately starts blaring an alarm. The initial metaflux readings are extremely high. The Alterum is already similar to a Wanderer.
So that's it then. We should deal with these Alterum before they completely degenerate into Wanderers. Perhaps this so-called serial killer is actually a hero.
Okay, Detective Ivan. Or Ivan. The detective gives me a contemplative look.
However, from a hunter's perspective, do you see the Alterum as humans? Or are they monsters that need to be destroyed like Wanderers?
The problem is, they're in the process of becoming. When they turn into abomination form and they're too far gone, that's where it's GG's. And their tendrils act on their own. So, I'm gonna say it depends because they're not fully human anymore. Unless we can find a way to fix it. They're not human, but they're not monsters. The line between humans and monsters depends on whether they've lost control. Once someone loses control, they become a monster capable of hurting others. It doesn't matter how prestigious their status may be. Oh no. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that really hurt. Not even just for the context of this, because quite literally for the context of Zane losing control of his evil and almost killing MC.
What a thought-provoking answer.
The sharp wail of an ambulance siren cuts through the wind and snow. It grows louder as it approaches. We both look up, our gazes following it. I genuinely appreciate how, like, her logical response was the exact same as my actual response, so I love that. But the phrasing just immediately made me make that association.
Wanderers, Alterum, the Deep Space Tunnel. Sometimes I think about the kind of fantastical world I'm living in. If a disaster even worse than the Chrono Rift catastrophe arrives, how much could humanity really do?
So the authorities are covering this up and classifying it as an accident. They must be trying to prevent the public from becoming even more panicked. He nods before shaking his head.
The Alterum will cause panic, not the murderer.
Seeing my confusion, he smiles.
A blood-stained murderer is more relatable than these abominations. Yay or nay?
Maybe I'm overthinking it, but something about this detective seems off. In any case, the association will provide the police with a formal energy analysis report. I should get going now. This detective already seems to have got to where Detective Ivan in the anecdote ends in the anecdote. Like, he's already made the association. On my way home, I opened the forum post that Tara sent me a few minutes ago. It's about Dawnbreaker. Let's expose the truth about the mysterious killer who only appears in snowy dawns. Dawnbreaker. Has anyone else noticed that the Ultram in Lincoln City have been slowly disappearing these past few days? That's because a mysterious killer has appeared in Lincoln City, the Dawnbreaker. They appear between dawn and sunrise, vanishing without a trace at daybreak, hunting Ultram ahead of the police. Inside scoop, 100% legit information, but don't ask me which insider. I can't say more. Featured comments. Missing you in Lincoln. No way this is real. My uncle works as a dispatcher at the Hunters Center, and he's never mentioned anything like this. Escape from Earth at night. At Missing You in Lincoln. The last 10 people who claim to have an insider uncles already got cease and desist letters. Want to be the next in line? This literally feels like they're making a reference to like people posting leaks about the game, which you shouldn't do because I'm actually very anti-leak. Dawn Shift Tender. Those Ultram things are just way too terrifying. Getting rid of them quickly is definitely for the best. 4-day worker to be. Lol, fake. Opie's probably just some writer hired by the site for clicks. Well, where's the rest of the article? Dawnbreaker. The Ultram and Dawnbreaker. These names sound like links in a food chain, destined to exist in a perpetual cycle of predator and prey. Oh, that's a callback to Fractal Library, literally where it talks about a version of Zane. Potentially it's alluding to a version of Zane essentially being the last person left in a reality, until he too withers away. Those monsters, come to think of it, I'm not so different from them. Will there come a day when others will try to erase my existence? As this crosses my mind again, I find myself strangely at peace. What was that? I hear a strange noise behind me. When I turn around, I notice paw prints on the ground. What kind of animal left these? A squirrel maybe? Or a stray dog? Cute fluffy dog? Confused, I stand there, but then a white blur darts past in my periphery. My scarf suddenly tightens around my neck before vanishing. It stole her scarf because maybe it knew that the scarf was associated to Zane? When I come to my senses, all that's left in the snow is a chaotic trail of footprints. The white blur has already vanished in the darkness around the street corner. My scarf! In the rundown, gloomy alleyway, only scattered spots of light fall upon the snow-covered ground. Dead end. It took my scarf too. Where did it go? Snow falls silently. My surroundings are so quiet that even the sound of breathing seems jarring.
Are you going to drag me back to the cocoon? I won't return! Wait. You're Dawnbreaker. Just kill me already!
Are we walking in on Zane? That's him. I know his voice. Dawnbreaker. My heart races as I hold my breath and silently move forward. As soon as I turn the corner, I raise my gun at the shadowy figure.
You...
In the dim lighting, several objects coldly flash from the figure's palm. They're ice shards, and they've pinned the teenager's sleeves and pant legs to the wall. Black crystal cover the teenager's left arm and neck, but he's different from the test subjects I encountered in Skyhaven. The realization hits me. He's an Ultram.
I said you could kill me, not torture.
I suggest you stay quiet.
There's things wrong with my brain mentally when I hear Zane's voice be harsh and firm. Like, it's 3 a.m. Oh, I could scream. I would be screaming. That voice. I freeze upon hearing a familiar voice and move my fingers away from the trigger. In that split second, a sharp ice shard cuts through the air. Oh, pause. Oh, chill. Oh, God. It barely misses my cheek. Dawnbreaker, like the Grim Reaper, turns to face me. With cold indifference, he meets my gaze. Wait, cold indifference? Zane? The white creature that had vanished into the snowy night suddenly appears from out of nowhere. It jumps onto Zane. What do you mean cold indifference? That doesn't even... our Zane would not be cold and indifferent towards us, and even Dawnbreaker is familiar with MC because he's been dreaming about her and wanting to be loved by her in his dreams for like 15 years. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Okay. Hypothermia. Part 3. Taking advantage of Zane being momentarily distracted, the teenager breaks free from his restraints and pulls out a knife from his waist with desperate, wild eyes. He lunges at him, but his wrist is caught and twisted again. The crackling of a dislocated bone echoes through the alley.
What exactly is this cocoon you speak of?
Why do you need to know so much?
But his voice is so good. As if the word cocoon was burned into his nerves, the teenager suddenly jerks away. He clutches his crystallized left arm as he frantically runs to hide behind me. Spotting my gun, he forcefully grabs my hand and turns it. The barrel is
If you're
pointed at Zane
not
now.
going to kill me, then let me go. Stay back.
A flicker of surprise appears in Zane's eyes, but that moment of uncertainty quickly fades. His usual coldness returns. Zane, why are you here? Zane, who should be away on a business trip, is in a remote alleyway in the middle of the night with an Ultram teenager. He was addressed as Dawnbreaker too. Something isn't right. Questions pile up one after another in my mind as I assess the situation. I slowly try to free my hand from the teenager's grip.
You
haven't gotten to the point where death is necessary.
Zane and I speak almost at the same time. I'm once again taken aback by the coldness in his voice.
But after tonight, that might change. The crystals will erode your body. Your skin will be split open, and your bones will be ground to dust. When it reaches your neck, you'll lose your voice. No one will hear you scream.
God, he's doing this whole haunting dialogue really well. God, this is sinister. Huh? The person I've met before is the same one standing before me, but this version of Zane feels like a stranger. His voice is cold, his gaze is cold, even his breath is the epitome of coldness. Something seems to trigger a memory in the teenager. His voice trembles as his body curls like a bow being drawn back. He buries his face into his knees.
You're right. They all died like that, after emerging from their cocoons.
Cocoons? Cocoons?
I want to live. But if I'm going to turn into a monster, what's the point? Rather than let the cocoon turn me into a mindless monster, I'd rather die.
Zane remains silent and he lowers his gaze as ice crystals silently form in his palm. Is he really going to do this?
A dignified death doesn't exist. Thinking you're in control of the situation by choosing to die, you're only comforting yourself with a lie.
Not only is he being philosophical, he is being blunt and cruel as fuck. I am so into this.
Did you escape just so you could die like a dog?
Oh, you are so attractive.
Don't lecture me with that nonsense!
Literally, he's going to turn into an Ultron. What do you want him to do? He's trying to at least see the situation positively. The teenager straightens up and lunges at me again, his hands trembling uncontrollably. Yet he grips my gun with all his strength, refusing to let go.
You're a hunter. A hunter's gun can kill a monster like me, right? Pull the trigger already!
Oh, I really want to see both of these situations. I'm going to first do I won't do that, and then I'm going to go back and do shoot. I won't do that. You can't be serious. With a flick of my wrist, I toss the hunter's firearm away and kick it out of reach. The teenager desperately lunges for the firearm, but Zane catches him by the waist and pins him against the wall. Stay calm. Focus on my breathing. Exhale, inhale. You're trembling. I know you don't really want to die, so stop saying it. After several seconds pass, the teenager finally comes to his senses. He nods as if emerging from a trance. I steal a glance at Zane. His expression is completely serene and unmoved. It's as if he's an aloof observer, standing at the crossroads between life and death. I move closer to Zane, firmly hold his hand in place, and give the teenager a gentle smile. You heard what he said, right? He said you can't die yet. He's the best cardiac surgeon in the city. If he says there's a hope for you, then you can be optimistic about the future.
He's a doctor?
I know he may not look the part right now. He really is the best in his field. Just don't misunderstand his intentions. You need to go. Now. The teenager freezes for a moment. As soon as Zane shifts his foot ever so slightly, the teenager spins around and runs away. Now I want to see what the alternate version looks like, so I'm going to actually shoot. Fine. If you really want to die, I'll pull the trigger. I raise my gun and aim it at the teenager, who's still shocked.
You...
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Wait!
Knew it. Snow crashes down from the wall above and scatters fine particles. The teenager opens his eyes. Still shaken, he bites his pale lip. It was fake. Just like your death wish. So stop saying you want to die. So it's interesting that this is a situation where she's kind of spooking the boy into kind of facing the reality that he would like to live. So there's still some hopes for him. He hasn't fully lost control if he's in control enough to want that wish. I do find it interesting that both Zane and MC use the same tactic to kind of elicit fear into the guy to make him realize that he wants to live. But obviously in two very different mental states. Regardless, it really speaks to their synergy, doesn't it? Late into the night, the streets gradually darken. The light reflected off the snow makes street lights appear soft and dim. After watching the teenager leave, I turn my back to look at Zane, who feels like a stranger. A small animal of an unknown breed stubbornly refuses to let go of his coat. It whimpers as he pushes it to the ground again. Now there's just the two of us and this dog? Anyway, you can tell me what's going on, right? Did your business trip end early, or did Arxo Hospital pull you back for an emergency? While I'm still asking questions, Zane bends down to pick up the snow-covered scarf. Then he stares at me as if trying to confirm something.
Is this yours?
I'm sorry, did Dawnbreaker actually switch with Zane? Or did Zane just actually take the mentality of Dawnbreaker? Because I'm so conflicted right now. Huh? If I remember correctly, this is the scarf you picked out 3 days ago.
Oh, then it's mine.
As soon as he says this, Zane walks right past me. You don't know me? Why are you suddenly acting like you don't know me?
Should I know you? If there's nothing else, I'll get going now.
This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. No, okay, oh my god, this is actually making me feel so annoyed. This is actually really infuriating me as a situation because I don't understand how this works either way unless his memories got wiped during this mental flow. I don't even want to call it a mental switch because I feel like Dawnbreaker would remember her. I don't... But your home isn't there.
I know.
He stops in the snow and gives me a cold glance over his shoulder. His voice is devoid of any emotion.
The subway station is this way.
Okay, so now we're gonna try the other option. Where are you going? Wait, where are you going?
It's none of your business.
What the? But Arxo Hospital is to the north, and your home is to the south.
I know.
He stops in the snow and gives me a cold glance over his shoulder. His voice is devoid of any emotion. Damn, he's just cold. Oh god, oh my god. Looking at this in retrospect is really hurting. Okay. Zane, what? On the empty street are footsteps crunching the soft snow. With his tall stature and long legs, Zane strides quickly and widens the distance between us. I have no idea where he's heading, why he's acting like he forgot who I am. All I can do is quicken my pace to catch up to him. Zane, answer me! I step in front of him to block his path. A mix of frustration and disbelief makes my chest tighten.
What's the matter?
That's my line. Has your evil gone out of control again? The puppy, whose species I don't recognize, catches up to us. Its gaze flits between him and me.
No. I'm perfectly fine.
Zane casually brushes me aside and continues walking. Go, you need to grab his hand or something.
Hey, I think a couple is breaking up in the middle of the street.
Don't even freaking joke about me breaking up with Zane, I swear to God I won't. The puppy quickly shakes the snow off its body, gives me a sympathetic look, then runs after Zane, who's already walking away. The two figures soon become dots in the snowy night. Why are you not chasing after him? Whether it's because of frustration or anger, I stubbornly walk away without looking back. But after a few steps, I feel like something is wrong. Chase him! Wait, the direction Zane's heading in. My heart races as I quickly follow the footsteps in the snow. That's what I'm saying. My heart races as I quickly follow the footprints in the snow. Zane lies unconscious on the ground, his brows tightly knitted as if darkness is dragging him down into its depths. Zane? I crouch and shake his shoulders. He doesn't respond no matter what I do. I can't just leave him like this. I try to help Zane up. As my fingers brush against his neck, I feel a layer of frost. It's unnaturally black? But his evo in the trailer was his standard blue. Dawnbreaker's evo is black. Nice. Could this be related to his nightmares again? A heavy sense of foreboding weighs on my mind, but getting him out of here comes first. I struggle to support Zane's weight as I drag him along one step at a time. Why was he talking about taking the subway? This path actually leads to my apartment complex. I'm going through so many feelings right now. I'm so all over the place, emotionally. Part 4 in the dream. Where you see his view of events? Okay. With his weight pressing against my shoulder, even a usually short walk home feels endless. Zane and I practically collapse onto the bed together. This is a very intimate version of events for main story Zane MC. The snow from our coats scatter onto the floor. The little white animal anxiously bounces back and forth on the sofa. I pick it up and gently shake Zane. His eyes remain closed. A streak of black silently emerges from his sleeve and creeps along his veins until it reaches the back of his hand. The black ice that appeared on his neck is spread to this area. I need to wake him up from this dream. I reach out toward the side of Zane's neck and gather my power. Resonate. Almost instantly, I sense the chaotic surging power raging throughout Zane's body. A force that's been suppressed for eons and is now finally breaking free. A bone-chilling cold surges. Hold on, pause. Like a force that's been suppressed for eons and is now finally breaking free? Is this potentially referencing his previous lives? A bone-chilling cold surges forth. It makes my entire body shudder. Power within his body is unstable. Why he lost consciousness. At that moment, Zane's eyes snap open and he grabs my wrist.
What are you trying to do?
He grabs my hand and pins it. Encased in ice, my wrist is already stuck to the wall once I realize what's happening. You! I take several deep breaths to compose myself. I'm trying to help you treat the black ice. When did it start appearing?
While I was dreaming.
He lets go of my wrist and the ice crystals dissolve with it. I guess there's no point in asking. To my surprise, the black frost didn't disappear after our resonance. It stubbornly remains on his body. Nevertheless, Zane appears much better than before. Remembering how cold he felt, I take out a thermometer to check Zane's temperature.
Extremely low temperature detected. To protect the device and extend its service life, the system will be automatically turned off in 1 minute.
The reason for the extremely low temperature isn't concerned and tries to prop himself up. Seeing this, I pull out an old-fashioned infrared thermometer and aim it at him. Freeze. I press the sensor against his forehead and playfully pull the trigger.
You're being childish.
As expected, he doesn't move. Beep, lost in thought, I stare at the screen showing his abnormally low temperature. No wonder all the surveillance cameras at the crime scene were damaged by extreme cold. Even though I'm not sure if it'll help, I take out 2 fever pills and hand them to Zane along with a glass of warm water.
That's medicine. It's bitter. I'm not consuming it.
You're a doctor. You of all people can't complain about bitter medicine. What must be the first time in his life, Zane's face shows an expression that can only be described as okay and... Not knowing how to help him recover, I head to the kitchen and make fresh carrot juice. I doubt it'll do anything, not her literally resorting to carrots to try and bring him back from the brink. I hate to do this because I really do care about Zane's autonomy, but we're making him drink it. Drink this instead. It's your favorite.
You know my preferences that well?
Zane seems genuinely thirsty. He takes the glass, hesitates for a moment, and then chugs it in one go. Well, do you want to give a more detailed review this time? He meets my gaze as the entire glass of carrot juice turns into a solid column of ice in his hand.
It's awful.
I see your hatred for carrots is written in your DNA. So now I want to try the alternate, which is essentially forget about it. We're not going to make him drink the carrot juice.
What is that? It smells awful.
His dislike for carrots goes right to his senses. When I see his confused expression, my urge to tease him instantly vanishes. At least his dislikes haven't changed. In the end, you're still the same Zane I know. That was cute. As the night deepens, the hustle and bustle outside my window gradually fades into silence. I gather every blanket and quilt in the house to stack on top of Zane, then I crank my heater up.
I'm not cold. I've already told you this. Take these blankets away.
Why don't you take them off yourself?
I don't have the strength.
There it is. Then don't move. He purses his lips only to furrow his brow a moment later.
You've been fussing over me for a while now. Is it for a particular reason?
You're important to me. Uncertainty flickers in his gaze.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is really hurting me right now. I don't want him to see my expression, so I turn away. The real reason is simple, actually. When he falls silent, I push away my chaotic thoughts and turn his cold face toward mine. Dawnbreaker, you're very famous. So don't you dare run away or disobey me, or else I'll...
You'll what?
He asks softly. His chin is still tilted up by my hand as his gaze falls to meet mine. I'll make sure you won't live to see That's my queen. I'll make sure you won't live to see tomorrow's dawn. I yank the blanket up to block his voice and gaze in the darkness. I was just curious about this. This isn't canon to my playthrough, but we're just going to try it anyway, just to see what it sounds like. So, not really. Not really. I was passing by and couldn't leave a weird person by his lonesome.
I'm weird.
This is so mean. You fell face first into the snow. Wouldn't you say that's kind of weird? But honestly speaking, I care about him because he's Zane. I don't need any other reason.
I see.
So, okay, that exchange, that's an interesting response.
Thank you for your concern, stranger.
Pain. All I feel is pain. I don't like this. Okay, yeah, now it's going back to, I think, what the original conversation was like. So for me, I think that's interesting, and obviously it's an option for people who have a bit more of a platonic relationship with Zane. I'm still going to stick by my original simply because I am technically in a romanced situation with him, and I'm going to explore what the different romance options look like for all the guys anyway, but I think specifically for Zane, I do respect them essentially having this option for people who are not actively romancing him, but for someone who is actively romancing him, I do appreciate that the main story essentially gives options that allow people to explore that romance a bit more.
What you described is not the first time this happened to Zane.
In the third anecdote, there was nothing said about Dawnbreaker ever taking Zane's place, only wished he could. I genuinely think this is like the Dawnbreaker mentality transposing onto our Zane. But for some reason, it also causes memory loss, which doesn't make sense for either Zane situation.
I witnessed it once when he was doing research with me at Mount Eternal. He became a complete stranger overnight, and no one knew what happened to him.
How can he be doing this? I don't understand how he can be also doing this when he's already like a higher up at the hospital, an active working physician, a researcher, combat medic occasionally, and then he's also up to this. And like Dawnbreaker also exists in another timeline, and there's a whole godly celestial aspect that also comes with Zane. There are so many things happening in Zane's story, it's actually crazy. I figured this wasn't the first time Zane had been in this state. Dr. Noah's words only confirmed my suspicions. How did he recover from it?
That's something only he knows.
Over the phone, Dr. Noah sounds just as troubled as me.
Back then, he ventured deep into Mount Eternal by himself, as if he had something to do there.
Right, and in Mount Eternal, there was that ice block that he was kind of re-solidifying or something, which had symbols similar to proto-fields.
When we saw him the next day, he had returned to his usual self, the one we all knew.
So do we need to go to Mount?
I guess whatever he needed to do was done.
Mount Eternal. That place seems to be hiding a burden that Zane has never been willing to speak about. But my intuition tells me that whatever changed in Zane must have happened before the Mount Eternal incident. Those black ice crystals, seemingly out of reach, they linger somewhere in the depths of my memories. Zane adopted black ice crystals when he hurt MC. That overlaps the fact that it was... Okay. It's a bit interesting, though, because in this... For Zane, it's specified that he hurt MC when he was 12 years old. It isn't specified as his birthday. For Dawnbreaker, it's specified that when he had to first ever hurt someone as an abomination, his father, who had become an abomination, killed his mother. That was the first time he ever killed someone, and then it was after that point that he started dreaming of Zane, and for Zane, after hurting MC, it was that point he started dreaming of the Grim Reaper. Both of their dreams are fragmented, they're not in a linear order. And obviously for Zane, it's also a taunting nightmare. For Dawnbreaker, it's just solace. Now, what this seems to me is there was a fracture in the timelines for both of them, which caused this crossover. But Dawnbreaker's reality seems to be a failure state, which is something that I talk about in my thread, of Zane's reality. When I open the door again, I find a ball of white fur sitting by the bed. It's wagging its tail at me. When did you sneak in? As I get closer, I notice the creature is contained within a semi-transparent dome made from ice evil. It restricts its movements. I don't even need to ask who did this. Zane really doesn't show mercy, huh? The puppy-like animal lets out what sounds like a bark of agreement. I reach out to dispel the evil ice barrier. Then I sit down with the creature in my arms. Now closer to Zane, I can see his eyelashes trembling and his deep sleep. They're like the wings of a weary bird that's finally resting at home. I don't know what you're dreaming about, but I hope they're sweet dreams. Good night, Zane. Oh, they're not. They're definitely not if he's stuck like this. In the stillness of the night, only the white creature notices a faint sound. A subtle energy seems to be flowing. The white animal's ears twitch as it looks at Zane and the girl's joined hands. The cold, corrosive sensation gradually fades. A warmth surges through Zane's cold fingertips like water traveling through a leaf's veins. For this soul that's been trapped in nightmares for so long, the unmelting black ice covering his body finally recedes bit by bit. Her presence alone and her warmth is helping melt the ice. Zane MC. Oh, Zane MC. Oh. Oh my god, this is actually such a moment. Oh, I'm having a really hard time, like, dealing with all these emotions right now. I'm considering everything we've been waiting for. All of the crumbs are really coming together. Okay, part 5, Beyond the Snow.
The investigation into the Alterum and the unidentified suspect is still ongoing. We urge all citizens to remain vigilant, avoid spreading rumors, and exercise caution when traveling alone at night.
It's already the next morning when I wake up. Groggy, I prop myself up and press my temples to clear my mind. Beside me, Zane is still asleep. They were sleeping next to each other. And they hold hands. By Zane MC. Beside me, Zane is still asleep. It's a rare sight at this hour. I lean closer and slowly become aware of his steady breathing. I watch as it slightly stirs the fabric across his chest. But he was going to do something with the Fountain of Tay, but now all of that's being held back because he's in this weird Dawnbreaker state. Poke. Even his breathing is attractive to me. There's actually something deranged with me. This is payback for making me haul you home through the heavy snow yesterday. And that's for freezing my hand to the wall. Holding back my laughter, give Zane's nose a gentle pinch. It really hurt when you froze my wrist. I'll pinch your nose for that.
Is messing around with people while they sleep a habit of yours?
Apparently. I feel his warm breath on the top of my head. My breath hitches as I meet his slightly weary gaze. Zane? The morning light filters through the curtains and falls onto his tousled hair. Looking into those eyes, I can tell that familiar Zane has returned. So he's wearing Dawnbreaker's clothes, so are you telling me that Zane literally fashioned a Dawnbreaker outfit? I love that though. I'm gonna pretend that's what happened.
Yes.
Oh, joy wells up inside me as I wave my hand in front of his face. Are you finally awake from your nightmare? He nods, and as he stretches his neck, I see the black ice on his body has completely disappeared. You're actually back to normal.
You could phrase that differently.
Before he can say more, I embrace him. Oh my god, this is so intense. Before he can say more, I embrace him. He doesn't pull away and gently wraps his arms around my waist. Congratulations, I'm the first person you saw when you woke up.
Yesterday, when I was in that nightmarish state, did I trouble you?
You were kind of cute. Maybe a little? You were kind of cute. Especially when I pinned you under the blanket.
You could only see the blanket. How was that cute?
Wait, does he remember then? So he must have some level of sentiency. Seeing that cold and willful side of Zane, even for one night, reminded me of when we barely knew each other. I want to try the other option, and what I've noticed is the second options are generally, again, still the more romantic ones. And I liked you were kind of cute, because to me it's a bit adorable and flirtatious. But I want to see what happens when we say you were a little childish. You were cold, distant, and had an unpredictable temper. You were even a little childish. That was still you, wasn't it? I'll just think of it as seeing another side of you, Zane.
Why do I hear a hint of disappointment in your voice?
So interestingly, okay, I think both responses work. I'm not necessarily going to say the second is a bit more romantic in this situation, but she does seem to be a bit more open. So in the normal one, she's kind of acknowledging he was a bit adorable, and it's a bit like it's a bit cheeky. You could potentially read that as flirtatious, but in the second dialogue, she's being a bit more open about how he was behaving. And his response, why do I hear a hint of disappointment in your voice? Clearly, she doesn't like the distance. Essentially, she's making it clear that she did not enjoy having to be brought back into that place when they didn't really know each other, especially when their relationships developed so much, as opposed to the cute one, which loops back into this bit more acknowledgement of like, yeah, it was cheeky and adorable, but also still not enjoying that distance, but it's a bit more of an internal thing. It's not as externally laid out to him during that specific option. So that's interesting. I feel at ease as everything falls into place. A moment passes and I look into his eyes again. How much do you remember about yesterday? Zane rubs his temples and sits up.
It's a little hazy, but I remember most of it.
Including how you froze my electronic devices and hand to the wall? And how you even told me to not be nosy? He glances away for a moment before his gaze calmly returns to me.
I also remember how you stacked blankets on me and did a test with carrot juice.
Ah. Your memory is impeccable. So when did these nightmares start?
They became more frequent after I returned from Chansha City. And in those dreams, I always forget who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. The me in my dreams, however, has his own mission to complete.
He presses his lips into a thin line and looks at me. The guilt he feels is clear. For some reason, the scene from last night flashes through my mind again. It stirs up emotions I can't quite name. Well, there's no more black ice on your neck and hands. Your palms are warm too. It's safe to say that you passed the physical examination. Welcome back to reality, Zane. I open my arms and wait for him to initiate the hug this time. Zane hesitates before leaning down. Then he wraps his arms around me. His warm breath brushes against my neck.
Good morning.
My man. My man. Before taking Zane home, he accompanies me to the association. I'm going to update them on my progress in the Alterum investigation. Dawnbreaker vanished overnight. Some people on the forums joked that he had been broken by the dawn. The police investigation has hit a dead end. The relentless snowfall is still the biggest obstacle for gathering evidence at the crime scene. While waiting for Zane to finish shopping, I sit in the car and look at today's news.
Ever, which announced the Fountain of Atay initiative, has revealed the first phase of the project, the Val Sanatorium.
The Val MC Zane head to Val Sanatorium, that's where Pew Pew happened?
According to several reports, Val Sanatorium is using medical pods called rebirth cocoons to treat patients with protocore syndrome.
I knew it. I called it. I said it. I knew it. I knew it would happen. Rebirth cocoons. My mind quickly latches onto this word. I heard this term yesterday. The teenager.
You're right. They all died like that, after emerging from their cocoons. Rather than let the cocoon turn me into a mindless monster, I'd rather die.
The cocoons the Ultram mentioned must be these rebirth cocoons. Sensing my troubled thoughts, the white creature pushes his fluffy self from the back seat to settle on my lap. Are you trying to comfort me? Thank you. I love the little animals that carry on appearing, like in Zane MC stories. You have Pi, the normal Dr. Zane. This creature seems to be transcending like time dimension situation because fractal library. But then we also had Visor, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I apologize, in the Master of Fate myth, as well as Hua, but I think the Visor was actually the key creature in that situation. When Zane woke up, I asked about the animal. He said it belonged to some distant relatives. As for why he got lost, stole my scarf and refuses to leave Zane's side, Zane says he's not sure. Distant relatives? Is that his cover for the boy in the Fractal Library? So what kind of creature are you? I decide to take out my phone and use its image recognition feature. As the screen refreshes, it shows a majestic... Ah. I don't know if you can tell, my eyes are so glassy. Because I literally just said. And in my version of the timeline, I put Master of Fate earlier timeline Zane, like linear timeline full character Zane. Master of Fate happens earlier. What if this is the same Visor? What if... I said, you know, also, Zane has the most, like, all the love interests are obviously Chinese, even if Silas has a lot of these Western draconic themes and Greek mythologies utilized for him a lot, he's still racially Chinese, as well as, like, Xavier, even though he's from future civilization, da-da-da. We all know that they're meant to be Chinese, nonetheless. But for Zane, there is this consistent thing where he has the most, like, explicitly Chinese elements, especially with his, like Master of Fate is a Xinsha myth. Apologies again if I'm mispronouncing that. But then a Visor appearing in his story, as well as the Visor being called Shichi, I think that was the name. There's just so many things about Zane that are there to love. Visor, the divine beast of antiquity, knows all beneath heaven and earth. I've been saying. Oh my god. Huh? With trembling hands, I cup his face. My gaze travels from his clear eyes to the tiny horns protruding like fresh sprouts near his ears. As I struggle to find the right words, Zane returns to the car. He has a bag of chocolates and dog food. Since you bought dog food, why don't you keep him? After all, your robot vacuum is the only other living thing in your house. Shouldn't it have a friend? Why is she not talking about the fact that this is a mythological creature? Or at least one would think.
That won't be necessary. My robot vacuum has its own social life.
You're so funny. Through the windshield, the warm glow of our headlights cuts through the heavy snow. We're heading to Zane's house! Hold on, sorry, I just noticed. Through the windshield, the warm glow of our headlights cuts through the heavy, snowy gloom. A figure is looking around while standing near Zane's house. It's a young boy in plain clothes. He's holding books in his arms. As soon as we get out of the car, the boy's face lights up with excitement and anticipation. He spreads his arms wide. Forgotten, the books fall to the ground.
Emissary!
Knew it.
Wait! Him being called the emissary in front of her, she's going to make the association that he's the emissary and in the celestial sphere. Oh my god, please tell me NC has a good reaction to that, because I'm sorry, that's actually wild. No, I'm gonna need people to actually start reacting to the fact that heaven, like the celestial heavenly sphere, is an insane concept to be introduced into this game. Part 6, the emissary. The unfamiliar teenager rushes towards Zane, who's standing behind me. Mysterious little creature, wagging its tail, runs over as well. Soon enough, all three of them are tangled in a group hug. So cute!
Let go of me.
Oh. I thought Zane was like... being open to the affection, but apparently he's only open to affection with us. The teenager steps back, then he excitedly scoops up the small animal.
So that's where you went, Shuchi. Why didn't you tell me?
Watching this harmonious scene between human and animal, I'm touched. But then I quickly become confused. Hold on. What did he just call you? Is he role-playing as your servant? Or your son in a fantasy setting?
Don't jump to conclusions. He's the son of a distant relative, and he loves sci-fi movies and cartoons. I suppose his latest hobby is running away from home.
A distant relative is a very interesting... Okay. Because Zane was very suave in how he tried to handle that question, we're gonna try whose kid is this? Whose kid is this? Zane guides the boy behind him.
The son of a distant relative.
Again, it's like the second responses just go in a bit deeper generally. I think that's going to be my rule of thumb, where I'm just going to carry on trying to opt for the second responses, because they do just go in a bit harder like that. Like, and I'm glad that during my original playthrough I did do that, because for the first one, he was immediately going straight into being dismissive, as opposed to MC was able to kind of pick up a little bit more on, like, hold on, the word emissary is interesting here, but she didn't necessarily tie it back, because she hasn't made that association for Zane. Pretty interesting. But now that I'm looking at him, this kid reminds me of... I study the boy's round face, his straight posture, and those mature eyes sparkling with excitement. Come to think of it, there really is a teeny tiny resemblance... Hey! Before I can finish my sentence, Zane swiftly taps his knuckle against the top of my head.
You should channel your brain power into writing a research paper instead.
The way I actively do that and actually write papers on Zane. I'm just teasing you. I know you didn't look like this when you were young. I lean down to get a better look at the boy. He has delicate features and appears to be around 11 or 12 years old. Do you live in Lincoln too?
Well, you could say that. I live in the Fractal Library.
It's literally just coming out with it.
Excuse me?
In a nearby residential area.
Zane, fess up. Stop freaking hiding this from me. The Fractal Library? I've never heard of it before. Is it a new building? Knowing he's related to Zane, I find myself adopting a gentler, friendlier tone. Is this little guy your pet? What breed? Actually, what kind of animal is it?
He's just a regular pet dog. He's not special. Go on, Shuchi. Bark.
Getting a bison to bark is funny, and then it comes out with an ow.
That's not the correct sound.
So fantastic.
Okay, now shake.
The small creature glances at me and then at Zane. He swallows his pride. And places his paw in the boy's palm. Zane stands by the wall with his arms crossed. When he sees my skeptical look, he looks away. The boy's face relaxes with relief as his expression shifts to one that says, "I told you so." Can you speak? Maybe I'm the one losing my mind here. Cute animal noises are actually killing me. Seemingly unable to watch any longer, Zane waves his phone.
I just got a text from his parents. They're going to pick him up.
Already? Can't you stay for a while longer?
I was actually planning to stay for a while.
Zane's sharp gaze sweeps over the boy. I might be imagining things, but the child and the dog freeze.
Right. I wanted to say hello. Uncle Zane will send me home.
It's cold, so you should head inside. I'll see him off.
No, I want to know more about what's going on with the Fractal Library, and I want to know more about your purpose. In the dim daylight, Zane watches the girl wave goodbye. He's out of sight once she closes the door behind her. The boy catches a snowflake in his palm and silently watches it melt.
Why did you come here?
Hearing the scrutiny in Zane's voice, the boy's expression shifts to match its severity.
7 years ago, you promised to take up the position at the Fractal Library. I traveled here because I'm asking you to fulfill that promise. You were selected as the emissary of the Divine. Astra ordained it, and your nightmare is the greatest proof of this.
The Fractal Library looks like Forcia's library. And I know people are like, oh, all versions of Phylos are in the future, because in Xavier's myth, Earth becomes Phylos, blah 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 blah. But also, the multiverse. And there's different choices that can affect where the realities end up. So, I am of the belief still that Forcia somewhat has to be in a linear past. And I know it's a situation where it's like, oh, all timelines exist in one freedom, and the deep space tunnel allows us to basically gaze through them and overlays them. However, in Thorns Under the Moon, Zane explicitly, lost, the control of his evil was taken away from him, and that's when Astra spoke to him, saying that you don't have to carry on putting yourself in dangerous situations, or something to that effect, and then search for your destiny. In Forcia, he's already working as Forcia, a demigod, under Astra. That leads to multiple lifetimes of failures, involving MC and then his eventual death. But what could have initially led to him being in that service? Why specifically Zane? And then also, why multiple lifetimes of suffering? Where they continually carry on finding each other, continually carry on falling in love and ending in tragedy. And it happens across different realities too, because he's connected to the multiverse, if he's connected to the Fractal Library. Especially as him being the atheist who does not believe in fate. You were selected as the emissary of the Divine. Astra ordained it, and your nightmare is the greatest proof of this. His nightmare... Okay, pause. So is Dawnbreaker reality meant to be if Zane doesn't actually sit in the position that Astra wants him to? That's one potential way of looking at it. But it seems more like another punishment. Zane speaks before the boy can say more.
I also said that I had my own choices to make and more important matters to attend to back then.
The boy's expression grows serene, and his voice carries a maturity unlike the one from a few seconds ago.
Was becoming that version of yourself in the nightmare also a choice? People think they're making choices most of the time, yet they're unaware that all these options lead to one inevitable outcome. Fate falls upon us like this snow. It is silent and inevitable.
This is where oh my god, a Master of Fate rerun happening right now, whilst all of this. Oh. I may be bound by fate, but I don't believe in it. Is so freaking crucial to Zane's mentality in this moment.
And you too are destined to become...
He trails off, and the only sound that can be heard is nothing more than a barely audible sigh.
Since you haven't made up your mind, there's no point in me staying here any longer. But...
The maturity and composure vanish as the boy's voice shifts back to a childlike tone. Wait, hold on, but also the existence of the Visor makes me think, wait, where the frick does where the frick Master's face, where the frick does Master of Fate sit? Because I put that in the past. And that's Zane taking on that position for MC. But again, it feels like, because it was so set into a Shinsha reality and it was like ancient China, and with the game setting, I still kind of envision it basically in a technologically advanced Lincoln, but like basically China. I don't know. Oh god, I'm so all over the place with this right now. There's multiple, what I'm getting is there's multiple ways this could be going, and I'm accepting of all of them. I will have them all in the back of my mind. I'm just going to see whichever one seems to be fed more evidence. The maturity and the composure vanish as the boy's voice shifts back to a childlike tone.
I left the Excessus bracelet you made for me at the library. Can you make me another one, please?
After a resigned sigh, an ice bracelet materializes around the boy's wrist.
Thank you, Emissary. I'll take my leave now.
His ice? Okay, it's one thing if it was just a bracelet, but this Accessus bracelet makes it sound like it's more important for something else. Potentially getting access into the Fractal Library, and potentially only Zane can give that with his own evil magic, because he's meant to be the true owner?
In any case, you're welcome to find me at the Fractal Library in Lincoln City. I'll be sure to visit you again as well.
The boy slightly raises his hand and his fingertips touch the air as a geometric shape gradually unfolds. He bows before stepping into a door woven from countless folded dimensions.
The Emissary is a liar. I counted every single day for 7 years.
Yeah, but he didn't say he would. As if drawn to his accusation, the wind and snow seem to follow through the vanishing door. They're silent. The snow ceases, and Zane remembers the first time he entered the Fractal Library. Even though it's called a library, its exterior was remarkably ordinary. It was a building nestled in a quiet corner of Lincoln City's silent streets. The young boy begged him again and again, so he pushed open the slightly weathered wooden door. Or being back here, especially after Foreseer Myth. This is literally the collision of Master of Fate and Foreseer and Dawnbreaker and everything. Oh my god. There were neither bookshelves nor defined boundaries. Instead, an endless garden with intertwining paths appeared before him. And a library that seemed to belong to another world stood at the point where those paths converged. As soon as Zane stepped into the backlight, he raised his head and saw countless bookshelves. They reached towards a tower summit, where sunlight poured in. The library's shelves were endless. They were like stairs that led to another dimension. Then a young person approached them and claimed that Zane and the young boy were the administrators of this place. In addition, Zane was destined to become the Fractal Library's owner! The young person told him that the Fractal Library, which stood at the intersection of dimensions, didn't really exist in any galaxy. It didn't belong to any civilization either, and each book in the library contained the fate of a world. Zane wondered if his own fate was among them. Perhaps his nightmares were hidden within a page of these large volumes from the moment he opened the door. On the night he returned home from the library, Zane had a different dream. In that unfamiliar world, he wore robes as he walked a very tall tower. He was leafing through an ancient tome. Between its pages lay a jasmine petal from a spring day, and that spring day belonged to a timeline he'd erased with his own hand. Why would he erase timeline himself? Because this has to be Foreseer. They belong to a timeline he had erased with his own hands. It would forever remain unknown to anyone. Why would he erase it? And at what point did he erase it? Spring day, the jasmine did finally bloom. But there were multiple lifetimes. So when you say timeline, is that the entire Foreseer timeline? Because it failed, or... Oh my god, my brain is reeling. Oh. Okay. This is a lot of things coming together, a lot of things being validated, a lot of things skewing in different directions. And I think because Zane literally when I say Master of the Universe, oh sorry, okay, so I know I talked about the Master of the Universe concept earlier, but essentially it's Zane being at the core of a fracture in time itself and between time and space itself. Why he specifically is ordained by Astra is something I find intriguing, especially with how potentially MOF and Forcia sit within this, because the Visor sits with MOF, but then the appearance of the library and what was just referenced sits with Forcia. And we explicitly know, obviously, Astra is related to the Forcia myth, but he isn't explicitly stated within the MOF myth. We just know that Zane is adherent to his duty towards fate. But in both instances, in every instance, he defies it. So I'm just so... What's going? Like, I'm not, sorry, I'm like, I feel so fed right now, but I also feel like I need, like, to sit with all of this information and just be left alone in a room to put it all together. Part 7, shoulder to shoulder. Just as Zane enters the house, I finish roasting the tangerines he bought. When I glance out the window, I realize the snow has finally stopped. Do your relative leave already? He must have a strict family.
Yes, he needs to go home and write his reflection paper.
There's a distant quality to Zane's voice. I sit down beside him and hold out one of the roasted tangerines. The weather is perfect for roasting tangerines. Try it. He stares at me for a long time before finally eating a piece of the tangerine.
You don't want to know what happened during the past few days when I disappeared?
If the explanation is going to be filled with medical jargon, then no. No, I want to know! What the As for the rest, Zane will tell me when he wants to. And if he doesn't want to, that's his choice. MC needs to start asking more questions, I swear to God. Like, yes, we can respect the love of autonomy, but they also just need to start fessing up. He can't help but smile at my deliberate emphasis on that last word. He takes the half-pure tangerine from my hands. Soon after, a warm orange slice is brought to my lips. He's feeding us?
I said goodbye 3 days ago because I had accepted Carter's invitation.
I know you are not actually meaning to help the Fountain of Atay. I know you. I know you.
I'll be joining the Fountain of Atay research project.
Liar. Huh? Seeing me choke and cough several times, Zane raises his hand to pat my back.
It's ultimately an excuse. Something unexpected happened, and the nightmare arrived before I could carry out my plans. Lately, Oxo Hospital has received a large influx of unusual cases involving protocore syndrome patients. Some died shortly after hospitalization. Others transformed within a month and became...
an alterum. Zane nods. I knew it! I freaking knew, my man!
All these patients had recovered at Val Sanatorium after entering a medical pod called the Rebirth Cocoon.
Val Sanatorium, according to the news report this morning, the first phase of the Fountain of Atay.
Carter told me that Ever will soon hold a press conference to demonstrate the Rebirth Cocoon's effectiveness to the public.
Wouldn't that mean more unsuspecting protocol syndrome patients will go to Val Sanatorium?
We can't let them do as they please. I want to stop Ever's plans, not just for the protocore syndrome patients. There's...
Before we can... You know what? I just want to say, on what I said earlier, I do still respect that she respects their autonomy and they will have that communication as partners when it is due. Because they do have really good communication and like, Zane MC's relationship, I just love it so much. But now what he just said, not just for the protocol syndrome patients, I want him to say if it's whether it's his research or also because of what happened in their past. I need to know. Zane trails off as he lowers his gaze.
I want to make amends for a mistake. One that should have been corrected years ago. Yet it still haunts me to this day.
Because X-Heart... His research that led to Carter taking X-Heart wouldn't have happened in the first place if it wasn't for his guilt around what happened with MC. It's all linked. I realize that for Zane, this carries a greater, more painful significance.
I know I disappeared without a word before, but
He actually used the affectionate nickname. Yo, this is so intimate for a main story. This is so intimate, actually. What the heck? I'm actually so surprised by how forward is this relationship. Don't get me wrong, I'm eating it up. I love every moment of this, but this is still very shocking to me at how wow. Okay. Hey, I never want to hear anyone say anything about Zane being cold ever again. You can literally suck my toe.
will you come with me this time?
I will come with you wherever you want to go. Asking me like that isn't fair. I know he helped me so many times before, and I'd agree to any request he makes. It's just, I still need a reason. Now that he's finally revealing everything to me, I won't let him have his way so easily. What's in it for me? The whereabouts of the ether core? Dirt on Evo? Or more leads about the biometric key? A few sweet words aren't enough to make me risk my life with you. Maybe helping prevent protocol syndrome and everything. Like, that's more than enough, especially because it's helping Evo. What are the... I need a more tempting reason. I tap his chest. Do you have anything else that might interest me?
I want you to come with me.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. They're feeding me. This is for me. This is feeding me so good. Jasmines, we are being fed so good today. Zane appreciators are being fed so good today. Holy crap. That's more than enough reason. He grabs my wrist and gently moves his hand to press my fingers into his palm.
And I selfishly believe that if I asked you, you'd do it.
I said it, I said it, I said it, I fucking said it. I said, I have been saying this is the timeline where Zane is going to be selfish. He is going to defy fate. He is going to do everything he freaking can to ensure they have a happy ending. And heal the world. Dazed, I see something flicker out of the corner of my eye. A fluffy white tail. Zane and I turn around at the same time. Shichi! Aren't you supposed to be with your owner? Crouched near the robot vacuum, Shichi whimpers. Those clear, innocent, round eyes look at me first, and then at Zane.
You're staying here to watch the house.
I guess the robot vacuum did get a friend. In the white testing facility, a row of circular medical pods lines the room. Surrounded by soft silvery light, they float in the air. Their translucent walls gleam with tranquility. Exquisite and graceful like meticulously crafted chrysalises. They pulse and contract with the rhythm of beating hearts. At any moment, it seems their contents might break free and soar towards the sky. Okay, before I go into this fight, I just need to fix her hair. So much Zane MC content. So much Zane MC content. I'm just so freaking happy. I'm actually so freaking happy. Oh, I think these are the chapter end. No, it's not.
Even a blizzard must come. Let's go.
Okay! Zane,
Here it comes. Leave it to me. Is this what you wanted?
perfect.
Keep your tempo.
Eat this! Dr. Zane,
Fall, it's your turn. It is weak. Now's our chance.
Go back to the pit you came from. Zane,
Here it comes. Leave it to me.
pay attention.
Victory is within reach. Let's go.
Okay. Dr. Zane,
Fall back. Leave it to me. Keep your distance, or else you'll get hurt. Watch out.
I'm okay. Let's take it.
Let's go.
Okay,
It is weak. Now's our chance.
my turn. I'll show you.
It is falling apart. Seize a hard-earned victory.
This is what a battlefield is like.
I just saw a message say X hot. I love being right. I love being right. I love being right. I love everything. I love being correct in interpreting all of the information and then being correct at the end of it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so locked in on Zane. Literally, you cannot tell me anything about Zane. At this point, you can't tell me anything about Zane. Obviously, there's always more to learn about a character. I just appreciate that I'm so locked in on him that I just do. And it's delicious. White Sepulchre. The next day. After driving west on the highway for 2 hours, patches of green vegetation finally appear amidst the desolate landscape. Looking through the window, I can see the distant dome of Val Sanatorium loom in the morning mist. After yesterday's events, we decided to tour the sanatorium as visitors to investigate. The Fountain of Ate, the Rebirth Cocoon, the press conference, none of these can be tackled in a single move. However, we can assess the situation first before planning our next move. Are we almost there? I feed the last cookie to... Even if you just perceive this as friendship, their friendship is so everything for me. For me, obviously, I'm perceiving this through the lens of a relationship because I am literally married to Zane. Hello, my name is Zafina Lee. That is my husband. That is the love of my life, my soulmate, my everything. Regardless of which universe, fracture or not, the time between time itself, the space between space itself, in every incarnation. I'm cringe. I feed the last cookie to Zane as he drives. He nods and takes a moment to gather his thoughts before speaking.
There are things I need to tell you. The technology used in the Rebirth Cocoon is from a research project Carter and I worked on when we were in medical school.
What? Huh?
Back then, I began researching the application of protocors in implantable devices under Dr. Noah's guidance. It was also something I was interested in personally.
Why were you interested in it personally?
At first, the research progressed smoothly. Yet when we started doing experiments... We need to stop researching this.
Slightly younger Zane's... Well, actually, no, he would have been like a teenager around this time or something.
The protocore energy has completely corroded the heart. Our experiment failed.
So young! He's so young! He looks the same, but he was so young.
But the heart started beating again. It just grew some black crystals, that's all. Did you know? The lab mouse we performed a protocore implant surgery on transformed into a wanderer and devoured its fellow test subjects. Zane, our experiment wasn't a failure. We succeeded! We've discovered humanity's next evolutionary form! We definitely need to visit that barbecue place near the campus tonight to celebrate.
Zane, you need to beat his ass.
The experiment didn't lead to new life. It turned people into wanderers, minions of a protocore.
Hold on, I just need a moment. I just need a moment to tweet something. Just to give some context as to why I then went on to give a very confident and cocky Twitter rant was essentially because I felt very validated because in my final part of my 9-post thread that I made, putting together different pieces from Zane's content and aligning it to his relationship with Dawnbreaker, I talked about how I perceive Zane as what I call the healer archetype. Within that, I talk about Exhart, and now it's actually the founding of the quote-unquote Wanderer virus, as well as Zane being the one who opens Pandora's box. He may be the source of issues, but he's also the grand corrector. So then, at this moment, I then decided to go on and tweet these tweets, which were very, very cocky, I will admit, but I was just really happy and emotional in the moment, and I can't really blame myself for feeling as happy as I did, because a good story should always reward its readers for being able to put things together, but also put in some new dynamics, and we definitely see new pieces put in play for the rest of the playthrough. But yeah, let's get back to it. Sorry, I just needed to like just freaking tweet a bunch of shit because I feel so fucking validated right now. I feel so fucking validated. Okay.
It was a Pandora's box that should have remained sealed.
And I said it. I said Zane opened Pandora's box.
I destroyed all the related research data that day. I hope to keep this truth buried forever.
Carter didn't see it that way, huh?
No. He named it Exhart and took it to Xander Sciences. It was later implemented in the Rebirth cocoon, which is the first step in the Fountain of Atay.
After finishing his story, Zane falls silent. However, his grip on the steering wheel indicates he's still caught in his memories. This is the mistake he wanted to make amends for. Not wanting him to dwell on the past, I clear my throat and lighten the mood. I used to think about how if we had gone on the same... Oh, this is actually... Ooh, talking about them potentially going to the same university. This has been mentioned before in like a romantic card, but considering the reason why he started doing that research project was because of his guilt, because of what he did to us. I don't know how this is going to go. Okay. I used to think about how if we'd gone to the same university, I would have dragged you out to have fun every single day. We'd watch the flowers bloom in the spring, enjoy the summer rain, collect autumn leaves, have snowball fights in the winter. But based on what I heard, you must have been too busy to do any of that with me.
Not at all. In our lab, we always said it's best to take a 4-hour break while data is being collected. Then we can see the results after. So during those times, I would have been available at least.
Zane MC dating during Zane MC dating during university. I need it. Come on.
I was joking. If you were there, I would have always made time for you.
I love you. God, I love your voice. The car turns onto a newly paved road, passes a sign that reads Val Sanatorium, and comes to a stop in the parking lot.
I'm not familiar with the sanatorium's interior layout. If you encounter any danger during this visit, remember not to go in alone.
Don't worry, I'm a professional. While I speak, I catch a glimpse of White approaching us. The boy again? Or Visor? Carter? Carter, who's here to receive us, wears a casual white business suit. Only a navy blue butterfly pin adorns his collar. I would just like to state, first of all, a white business suit is like, that's oddly flamboyant. But the navy blue butterfly pin, again, brings me back to the, and I apologize for my pronunciation if I'm completely off, but during the Dawnbreaker anecdote, they talk about Zhuangzi's butterfly. And it's essentially like a thing about Zhuangzi dreams that he was a butterfly. When he wakes up, he doesn't know if he's Zhuangzi dreaming about being a butterfly or a butterfly dreaming about being Zhuangzi. Something like that. And I also go into my like research thing, essentially about how the butterfly affects both Dawnbreaker and Zane. So I just find the inclusion of the butterfly a bit interesting here, especially when he is wearing Dawnbreaker garb.
Have you been waiting long, Zane?
No, we just got here.
Carter leans down toward the car window. Upon seeing me, his eyes crinkle and his smile widens.
When Zane called about needing 2 visitor passes, I had a feeling you'd be accompanying him.
The literal last time that Carter had seen the 2 of them was during Chansha City's issue. Like, I compose myself. Smiling politely, I step out of the car, but just as I'm about to speak...
Let's skip the pleasantries and head inside.
Possessive Zane. Ooh. Following Carter, we enter the long corridor that connects the parking lot to the sanatorium's lobby. My gaze falls on the emblem at the entrance. Under the curved shape are the following: Eternity Vanquishes Evolution Restraint Group. Without a doubt, this is Ever's logo. Eternity Vanquishes Evolution Restraint. Eternity Vanquishes Evolution Group. That's such a freaking pretentious ass name. Carter activates the scanner, and a white light immediately sweeps over Zane and me. A cheerful electronic female voice speaks.
Visitor identification verified. Zane.
Sorry, our names next to each other look so good. That's Zane Lee and Zafina Lee right there.
I am Telomere, the AI management system of Val Sanatorium. Welcome to our facility. We hope you have a good day here at the sanatorium.
The doors slide open and we enter the first floor lobby of Val Sanatorium. Pristine white surrounds us. The ceiling is unadorned, its white surface seemingly integrated with the recessed lighting system along its edges. Beneath our feet, a gentle light bathes the white marble floor and illuminates every corner of the lobby. This place seems...
bright yet oppressive.
Yes. Pristine, silent, and unchanging. It's as if time itself stands still within these walls. In this environment, Zane and I stand out like two stains on an otherwise white canvas. A few doctors in white lab coats pass by us. Although they were quietly discussing patients' medical conditions, they nodded in Carter's direction.
Since Zane personally asked me for visitor clearance, I should give you two a proper tour.
Side by side, we follow Carter as he leads us to the reception desk in the center of the lobby.
I see the Fountain of Ate finally caught your interest. All those phone calls over the past month weren't in vain.
Oh, Carter, you have zero idea what you did. Because Carter literally is such a freaking idiot that during his research, during his essential taunting and trying to get Zane to join him, he also brought about, oh, well, if it was the girl that you care about, would you, like, let her die? Why would you taunt Zane like that? Are you fucking stupid? He's so oblivious and dumb and so conceited. So, and it's just going to be really funny to watch all of that blow up in his face when Zane MC come together and wreck the building, I'm hoping.
But I'm curious. What made you change your mind?
Carter stops in his tracks by the reception desk. He turns around, his signature smile returning with narrowed eyes.
You kept talking about humanity's future. I wanted to see if it would actually come to pass. Besides, nobody knows Exhard better than me.
Carter's eye twitches. Oh, he's jealous, even though it was literally Zane's genius that caused it to happen in the first place. After a long silence, he suddenly erupts into a fit of laughter and shatters the lobby's tranquility.
Good, good. You've convinced me. Everyone deserves a second chance at redemption. Remember, Zane, I gave you this chance.
Oh, Carter, you are so oblivious.
And what about you, Miss Hunter?
When I receive this question, I deliver my carefully prepared response. Since Zane is joining the research project, I wanted to see what it's all about. Carter tilts his head. His gaze flits between Zane and me before settling on Zane. The amusement in his eyes is obvious.
I see. Even the strongest relationships need a solid foundation. I'll make sure you get a good position here.
Damn. Okay, you know what? A relationship doesn't always have to be romantic for the people who are, like, going into this and aren't Zane, like, fans in that kind of way, or Zane mains. For the rest of us... He turns around and shakes the brochures stand next to him. The neatly arranged brochures scatter in disarray, and he pulls out 2 copies with a smile. He gives them to us.
The only downside to this place is that it's 2 by the book. But I guess that doesn't really affect you, Zane.
It's about complicated medical cases. The thin booklet methodically categorizes various diseases that conventional medicine has yet to cure. It's like a university department, and the facility's patients are eager students with a thirst for knowledge. A commotion breaks out in the distance. I look up. It's a group of elegantly dressed visitors being led into the lobby by a receptionist. They're being guided upstairs for a tour. On the staircase leading to the second floor, several patients in white hospital gowns are walking down the steps. I expected to see many high-profile figures in this place, but even then, I never expected to see her. Oh my god, is it the Gaia lady? Wait, Corinne, who's 43 years old, is a war correspondent. She won numerous prestigious journalism awards. She spent years reporting from the front lines, faced countless life-threatening situations, and has earned a large amount of respect in society. A year ago, she was attacked by a wanderer, got protocol syndrome, and rarely appeared in public since then. I've met her a few times at Harkso Hospital. I heard she was also one of Zane's patients.
Dr. Zane, it's been a while.
Noticing us, she comes over to say hello. Zane acknowledges her with a slight nod.
Ms. Karen?
Someone of her caliber choosing Eva? That's probably the best endorsement they could ask for.
I heard that when she left Axo Hospital, she had less than 2 months to live. Her daughter had just learned to say mama when you handed her a death sentence. How cruel.
Dr. Carter, the patient in room A504.
Carter gestures for us to wait a moment, then he takes a few steps to discuss something with the man at the front desk. Noticing my silence, Zane stops in his tracks.
What are you thinking about?
It's nothing. I just realized that Eva seems to have a knack for exploiting human vulnerabilities by any means necessary. How else could they gather people from different backgrounds and beliefs and make them devoted to a single cause?
The key to obedience isn't promising heaven, it's using hell as a threat. After all, everyone fears illness and death.
That voice. Footsteps accompanied by a familiar voice approach from behind. I turn.
We meet again, Miss Hunter. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Benedict, the director of Val Sanatorium.
From what I remember, he had another identity. I met him at the place where an Alterum died. You're the detective who spoke to me that day.
I'm honored you remembered me, Miss Hunter.
He smiles not with the embarrassment of someone whose identity has been exposed, but with the composure of a performer waiting for the audience's reaction to a grand reveal. He knows about Zane's Dawnbreaker identity. Okay. That's why he was more than happy with the situation. Wait, he might not know about Zane's Dawnbreaker identity, but he knows... Okay, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But what he does know is essentially Zane is cleaning up after him. Alarm bells ring in my mind, but he quickly shifts his placid gaze to Zane.
It's been a while, Dr. Zane. Welcome aboard.
Or potentially. Oh god, this is a struggle bus now. This is a struggle bus now. Oh, I think I'm on the final... Yeah, like it's the mini battle chapters. Okay, so as I'm doing these fights, essentially what I'm trying to get at is he's either aware of Zane's identity as Dawnbreaker and he's appreciating the cleanup, or regardless, just appreciating the cleanup anyway, because then other people aren't aware of what the X-Heart project actually looks like. Everything so far, oh my god, every single chapter so far across the story has been fantastic. All of Silas's portions were absolutely elite. Everything for Zane is so incredibly validating, so good. But we're still not touching on the crux of what happened when he was 12. And that's where I'm just kind of like, I need this. I need a reference. I need more to it. Because again, it's that guilt and shame Zane has is still like alluding in the background, but it's not actively being addressed or communicated. And I feel like that's what's like a frustration for me, because a lot of Zane MC's relationship is a lot of transparency, but they're not being transparent about this thing. And this is a big thing to be withholding. Maybe it's the guilt, maybe it's the shame, maybe as Josephine said, don't worry about it, because she's also seen MC revive multiple times. And so maybe Zane as a young genius became aware of how MC regenerates, hence, you know, his research into the Aether Core. Because there's no way in hell Josephine didn't have an opinion on after Zane almost killed MC as a child. Like, she would have said something also because she still has a positive perception of him to the point where he's MC's doctor, as well as, like, you know, oh, you should go for lunch together. And he was also helping heal her. So she still has a positive perception of him. So she's not blaming him for him losing control of his evil. But, and it would also be kind of hypocritical of Josephine if she did, for example, have issues with Zane for almost killing MC when she herself and her research has led to MC dying multiple times. So that's where I'm kind of at right now. Oh, so much is happening, so many pieces falling into place. So I think the cinematic sequence is just essentially going to be that same thing of, like, you know, them fighting, essentially probably getting rid of what the hell the X-Heart Project is. Getting rid of what the X-Heart Project is, and then I don't know where it's going to go. Potentially more of an exploration into Dawnbreaker, and, like, essentially Zane entering that kind of dream state. Like, I don't think that they would go this far and then not actually address the childhood thing. Right. That's going to be the end for this chapter's episode. I will see you in the next one, which will be the final chapter of Death and Rebirth, and it's called Snow Fades at Dawn. That aligns to Dawnbreaker and obviously just Zane's evil also. Let's see how that goes. Okay, bye.